And so for me, the Anti-Defamation League is an institution that does everything so that our children and grandchildren never have to ask in the future, what if? What if their parents, what if their grandparents stood up to every single day to say no? No to hatred, no to bigotry, no to prejudice, no to racism, and no to anti-Semitism. You can see a lot of films, you can read all kinds of testimonials, but really in its essence, that's what the ADL is all about. You have already and are continuing to make a difference. You did so by coming here, you did so by filling out the envelopes, and you give us in the ADL the strength to know and believe that we will prevail, that goodness will prevail over hate and evil. In the rich mosaic of the diversity that is this nation, we have to find ways to live together and grow together and learn together. We have to learn how to choose our words carefully, to understand the power and danger of words, and to take responsibility for the words we utter and their consequences. The Holocaust, the crematoria, the gas chambers did not begin with bricks. They began with words, ugly, hateful words that demonized, that degraded, that debased Jews. And because there were no other words to say no, these words went from ugly and hateful words to deeds. The September 11 attacks did not begin with planes transformed into missiles. It began with words, ugly, hateful words that demonized, dehumanized, debased Americans and everything that we stand for. And they too became ugly deeds. We need, my dear friends, in every way possible to denounce the rabble-rousers who traffic in fear and frustration. We need to cleanse our communities of prejudice. We need to speak up and speak out and challenge anyone who is maligned or treated without contempt, no matter who the victim or the perpetrator. It isn't easy. It's not as easy as you think it is. For it takes courage. It runs the risk of peer disdain or disapproval. But every time we laugh at an ethnic joke or a racial slur or religious stereotype or let an expression of contempt pass in silence, we contribute to the atmosphere of prejudice as if it was by tacit agreement. So finally, my friends, in Jewish tradition, we believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue. 3 times a day, Jews who pray, who follow the tradition, ask the Lord for his help. Nitzor lishoni mira. Keep my mouth from speaking evil. We in the Anti-Defamation League deal all the time with words. We believe in the power of words, in the power of good people to stand up and say no. Never again was the 11th commandment etched in the aftermath of Auschwitz. It was etched by the Jewish people based on a Jewish experience, but never again that pledge, that imperative, that commandment has a universal message and a universal mandate. For all of us in this room, bear testimony and give testament to the commandment which basically says to all of us, never again be silent. Never again be silent whenever anyone in fear, in danger, isolated, or singled out because the color of their skin, their ethnic origin, their religion, their sexual orientation, or anything that makes them different from the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for caring. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us the strength and the opportunity to say to our children, we will stand up so you never have to ask, what if? Thank you very, very, very much. And now for my second perk. It is very special for me to be here this evening to celebrate the many accomplishments of Austin ADL, our youngest office in the country, but also, as I indicated, to join all of you in special recognition. And I have two of those perks. One is to recognize Ray and Audrey Maislin, longtime friends of the ADL. For the very first time, the Austin Council of the ADL sought to bestow a lifetime achievement recognition on two very worthy individuals. The first is always the most important because it sets the tone and the standard. And so we honor Audrey and Ray Maislin for their decades of leadership and involvement with the ADL. Ray and Audrey, who recently celebrated their 62nd anniversary, first got involved in the ADL through the Houston office in the 1950s. Most of their work at that time focused on desegregating public schools. At this time, large law firms would not hire Jewish lawyers. Audrey and Ray and the ADL fought to break down those barriers. Ray served as chair of the Southwest region in the early 70s. Meanwhile, always as the belle of the ball, Audrey chaired 17 ADL dinners during her volunteer career with the ADL in Houston. Wow. The Maislins moved to Austin 22 years ago to be closer to grandkids. Tired of driving 2 hours to Houston to attend ADL events, driven to offer the ADL resources and program in Austin, the story goes that 10 years ago, they gathered family and friends to raise the seed money to start the Austin office. At that time, they hired a part-time community director. Now, almost 10 years later, there are 4 full-time employees in the Austin office working every day to advance ADL's mission of ending the defamation of the Jewish people and securing justice and fair treatment for all. We have Audrey and Ray to thank for that. At this point, please turn your attention to the video screens for a tribute to Audrey and Ray.